D, divots. We've had a question, and we do hear this a fair bit, don't we? A lady says, why can't I take a divot? I know I'm supposed to, and this could be you as well. You might be thinking, well, I'm supposed to take a divot. I can't seem to be able to take one, so why not, Dee?
Well, I was wondering, do people know why they have to take a divot?
Yeah, and do people really know where the divot is supposed to be?
Exactly. And like, it's really, why do we have to take a divot? I say this, and I'm not being funny. I am really, but why do we take a divot? Because the ball lives on the ground.
Yeah, so you need to get the club under the ball and
Yes,
brushing the ground.
you need to make sure that you hit the
don't
ground.
need a great big dinner plate divot
No.
that flies through the air like you sometimes see Phil Mickelson, let's say, hit, on the tour. You don't need that, but you do need to be bruising, at least bruising the
at least
grass
bruise the ground.
after the ball. So ball, then turf.
Okay, if we move in here closer, Annie, I don't know if our viewers know this, but I will often say to my students, where do you want to hit the ball, or where are you looking? And they go, I'm looking on top of the ball. And I go, oh, okay. So do you hit on top of the ball? And they do. And then it's like they say, well, where do you think you then should hit the ball? The other one is they say, we should hit it there.
Right.
And we know, and everyone, but once people know, they go, oh, we want to hit, like you were saying, we want to hit in this little wedge shape here. So we want to hit the ball, then the ground.
Yeah, ball, then ground. A lot
ball,
of people
then
are
ground.
thinking they're trying to hit, the divot comes from back here, but it really doesn't. The divot's actually over here.
Yeah, it starts about here on a
Starts
perfect.
right under the ball and finishes over there. And that's the only way to get that D is the club coming from high to low. And when you're topping the ball, your club is coming from low to high. And that's why you can't get a divot. Or you're getting a divot right back here, which is a duff, which is hitting the ground before the ball. So that's essentially why, if you're not getting divots, it's because you're trying to help the ball up, or you've got a chicken wing, or you're coming over the top, which is, causing you to break your arm. And the club is coming up instead of going down underneath the ball.
Exactly. And I think there's a psychological thing also, to be honest, particularly with women or people who've injured themselves. Number one, women don't want to dirty the ground. Sorry. They don't want to take divots and dig it up, because, I'm not being silly here, but women don't want to destroy things.
I've heard that such a lot with ladies.
Yes,
that
they don't want to destroy.
Digging up the ground, or they're worried about hitting and hurting their wrist.
Exactly, I understand that one. And who has to always tidy up the mess? This is a bit sexist. Normally the women, we have to tidy up the mess. So there is a psychological thing there, isn't there?
Is that it? I thought it may be more along the lines of hurting yourself, but
it is hurt. Yeah. But I think it's that too. Or beautiful gardens. They don't want to destroy it.
Yes.
But I think this idea too that is important is, I always say to my students, I would prefer them to start with to even be hitting behind the ball rather than topping.
Definitely.
Topping is, hitting behind is easier to cure than a top.
Absolutely.
And that's not where the ball lives, and you can't, and if you're topping it, you can't get, everyone wants backspin, but if you're topping it, you can't get backspin.
No, it's very unsatisfying when you're hitting on top of the ball. So the two sort of main factors of being able to hit down onto the bottom and the back of the ball would be a bit of wrist hinge with a fairly straight arm, because that's going to bring the club head down underneath the ball. As soon as you bend this elbow to try and help it up, then you're going to come up on top of it. So that would be one, wouldn't it, Dee? The wrist is helping the club to hit down and through. And also the swing par coming over the top is a killer.
There's quite a lot, isn't it? But if we looked at it in really, like you just said, in simple terms, the club starts on the ground. So the club starts on the ground. It swings around. It swings up. What goes up has to come back down, coming back down, and it goes through. That's basically, and you're trying basically to hit it. If you look at a golf swing, it's on an arc. It's going to hit the ball and then the ground, sort of thing there. At the bottom, if you get it somewhere at the bottom of the arc, you're going to be doing okay.
That's the plan, isn't it? Hitting at the bottom of the arc. And focusing on the bottom of the ball and brushing the grass under the ball. Sometimes, as you said before, we're so focused on the top of the ball or the side of the ball. focus on underneath the ball. Look at the grass or the ground below the ball.
Yeah.
And focus on that if you do struggle to get down low enough.
Annie, one of the things I always do when I'm swinging and I'm swinging back, I'm actually looking through the ball. I'm looking at that spot underneath that I just talked about. I'm actually looking when I'm hitting, and I can't see it, I'm looking into that spot there.
Yeah.
So I have the feeling that this is a little mantra I have a feeling that when I'm back here, I'm not even thinking it, but if I can still see that little wedge shape when I'm starting down, I generally hit a great shot.
Yeah.
That's, I'm not trying to see it when I'm hitting the ball, but it's basically if I'm there, I'll just get rid of the ball because I'm not going to hit it. If I'm there, when I'm coming down, if I can still see that spot, then I go through.
And another great drill that could be good is if you could draw a sort of a chalk line or something along the ground.
Go like
Mark
that.
a mark that way.
Go into the sand bunker and do it.
Yeah, into the bunker, because then you'll know straight away where the club's hitting. So say we draw a line here, and you'd set yourself up and you'd aim to hit the turf at that spot or past it. You could move forward, do the same thing again, aim for the turf or past it, and then go along the line and practice. And you can see where the club is hitting. And as you said, in the sand's fantastic because you can see very clearly. Can't you,
the sand is really good. And so our viewers don't get too paranoid about it. Like really with the golf clubs today, especially, there's a little bit of bounce. They have a bigger base here. So you can even, so long as you're hitting the ground, you can hit a little bit behind it. And so long as you keep rotating, you'll get away with it.
That's why hybrids were developed.
Yes.
For that very reason.
Absolutely.
A bit more room for error. With the iron, you've really got to hit it just at the right spot, but the hybrids and the fairway woods are a little bit more forgiving. So that the thing is, you don't, are not all going to take the same divot anyway, and so you don't have to feel that you've got to take this great big dinner plate sized divot. You just want to make sure you're brushing the grass after the ball, and that's really your main goal.
And always fix your divot and with sand. And sometimes they don't want you to put sand in it. Sometimes they want you just to dig it in and then put the sand on. So find out, but look after the golf course. And then us women won't have to be tidying up all the time.
Tidying up after everybody. I hope that's helped the lady that asked about why she's not taking a divot. I hope that may have helped you as well. And we'll see you next time on Pro Golf Gals.
Bye for now.
They've lost their ball. Anyway.
Shall we wait for them because they're going to disturb us?
Yeah. Probably are slightly far away, aren't we? Okay. Got it?
Take two. Yep.
Wouldn't get away with that.
Oh.
That one wouldn't have been good.
So we did that on purpose, everyone. Like a little submarine.
It's very strange.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't think that'd be really that fit for purpose. Like, who designed this?
A man.
Surely there's got to be a better way.
It is
Maybe
quite
that's
silly.
designed so as you drive along in the car, the sand doesn't come
I
out.
reckon it's a man, and when they can't go to the toilet.
Oh my gosh.